Down Mason Road by the bayou, a lazy late afternoon, just me and you, wearing nothing but smiles in the waving grass, kisses, kisses of sweet wine, looking at tan lines, and there was more than that. Ooh, summer days ended, but the heat was on. Years of life ahead could do no wrong. Love was all we had to hold on to, running, running on fields of dreams and loving things. I wanted you. By the bayou, I gave my heart to you. By the bayou, passion of you. By the bayou, wildflowers grew, and I needed you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Promises are hard to keep. Two hands let go of me. Goodbye, it's crazy right into sunset. So long ago, but don't you know we never ever forget. By the bayou, I gave my heart to you. By the bayou, passion of you. By the bayou, wildflowers grew, and I needed you, I wanted you. Memories flow by underneath blue skies. They go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. By the bayou, I gave my heart to you. By the bayou, passion of you. By the bayou, wildflowers grew, and I wanted you, I needed you. Oh, lay me down, lay me down, lay me down, lay me down by the bayou. Hand in hand, taking chances in the afternoon. Oh, lay me down, lay me down, lay me down, lay me down by the bayou. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Woo! Yeah, well, hello, Houston, and welcome to the KPFT Sessions, coming to you live from KPFT 90.1 FM in Houston. I'm your host, Messiah, and with us is the usual DJ Rico Black.
Hey.
So we have a bit of an even playing field today because behind the scenes we have Blue on audio And Basil, who's usually on audio, but I'm stealing him for video.
Traitor.
But it's okay, because we have an awesome guest, because you just heard her. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. My name is Suzanne Walker, and my artist name is Suzanne's Band. And I'm a local Houston Grammy artist. And we not only do original songs and kind of an Americana vibe, that's the main vibe that we have. We also play live music, do a mix of covers and originals across multiple decades and genres of rock, pop, country, and blues. That's the main four we kind of pull from. And so we do a little bit of everything.
I like all four of those.
Yeah.
So what was the name of the first song that we just heard?
That was By the Bayou, and that is track number 4 off the most recent Grammy-submitted album, Ice and Fire. And it's kind of in the same category as like Bonnie Raitt, Brandi Carlile. So those are some sound alikes if you are familiar with any of those artists. And so, yeah, a lot of great songs came off of that album, and we were really happy with it and the traction that it got.
So you said you sent it into the Grammys?
Mm-hmm.
So how?
Well, and I'm part of the Grammy organization, too. I'm a voting member.
Oh.
So, yeah, I was accepted in 2020 during COVID. That was one of the blessings of COVID was, hey!
Well, I mean, all this
that
started
was awesome.
during COVID, too, like
Mhm.
all these session stuff. But
Yeah.
I want to get into that a little more. So you have to be a member to submit stuff, or is it just
because you could be a publishing company, or you could be a record company, and they submit for their artist. So it doesn't really matter on the submission side as much as it does, other areas. But anyhow. But yeah, I submit all my music when I turn it in, and then if it gets accepted for voting, that's always a plus, because it does have to be accepted into the voting process. So, and then there's 2 rounds. There's like an initial round, and then there's like a second round where, it's down to the nitty gritty, as they say. And then of course the final is who gets accepted out of that, for the actual Grammys that are held in LA every year. So.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, how long does that whole process take? So if
Just a few months.
Okay.
So round 1 to voting is in October, and then there's a second round around I think November, December, in that range, somewhere in there.
Now, is this something we can vote on, or is this
No,
a committee
you have to
thing?
you have to be a voting member in order to
That
vote.
means we have to get a Grammy, Messiah.
No,
like
because
it.
I haven't like won a nomination or an award yet, but I still got in. So if you're in the music business in any aspect, whether you're a singer, producer, writer, whatever, there is, a way you can, get in and be accepted. You have to have a couple of different people nominate you that already are members, and so that is one of the things that are involved. And there's certain requirements. You'd have to read what the requirements are for your individual profession, whether it's releasing music, having a website, there's all these things that you have to have that show that you're doing this full time and this is your life.
Not just
because there's a lot of
yeah.
people that do music in different aspects as a hobby, but it's not their main thing. And for me, this is my blood, sweat, and tears and my whole life. It has been for 7 years. So
Sounds good. So,
Yeah.
speaking of that, what's the next song you're playing today?
Well, I went back to the beginning. This is one of the first songs I wrote. I wanted to write a song about going on vacation, and it's got a great video on the Suzanne's Band YouTube channel that you can catch. And again, the name of the song is Down in Mexico, and this is one of the first songs off one of my first albums called Breathe. But the video did really well. It won a nomination by the East Texas Music Video Awards not long after it came out. It's a really beautiful video that people just really went wild over during COVID. That's when the numbers shot up on viewing because people couldn't go anywhere. And so they wanted to watch the video and, experience being away. And so it's real pretty. So I hope you enjoy it.
We will.
This is Down in Mexico. don't we go pack a bag and head for Mexico? Tell the boss she'll be back in a week. We'll be watching shadows playing hide and seek in the palm trees. See, we're gonna leave all our troubles behind and go to a place we can unwind, dance the night away, lay on the beach all day and breathe the salty air. Glad to be down there, down in Mexico. Oh, down in Mexico. See that little cabana. It's just for the two of us, yeah. Grab a pina colada. We'll take a walk along the shore. After a while, go back for more down in Mexico. Oh, por favor, we're gonna leave all our troubles behind and go to a place we can unwind. We can be alone. Turn off that cell phone and breathe the salty air. Glad to be there down in Mexico. Down in Mexico. Work on a tan. Hot kisses on the warm sand. It's everything we wanted it to be. Yeah. Chase away those Monday blues. Do some shopping, fishing, take a cruise. Write a song about how much you mean to me. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna leave all our troubles behind and go to a place where we can unwind. We can be alone. Turn off that cell phone and breathe the salty air. Glad to be down there, down in Mexico. Whoa, down in Mexico. Oh, down in Mexico. Whoa, down in Mexico. Down in Mexico. Whoa, down in Mexico. Gotta have some cha-cha when you do Mexican.
So, did you write that in Mexico, or is this like an
No,
imaginary
No, just,
vacation?
mental trip.
I love those. Those
and
are
even my
favorite.
house is kind of decorated like I have a lot of like palm tree kind of themes and just, that kind of vibe.
Awesome.
So,
So, do you,
that when I go home, I always feel like I'm away. Like it feels like a vacation spot, a place of refuge.
does that make it harder for you to leave the house?
Some days, I tell you, when it's 30 or 105, well, those extremes, yeah.
See, I try to not make my house that comfortable because I'm like, nope, I'm not leaving. Sorry, guys. We can FaceTime all you want.
Yep.
So, you said it got nominated for Best Music Video for the East.
East Texas Music Video Awards, yeah.
Is that like another thing that you have to put a nomination or like submit?
I didn't even submit anything to something. I mean, it was just that somebody found it, I guess, and put it in, and I thought, oh my gosh, that was a really cool thing.
Yeah.
To have those things come out of the blue like that.
Okay, I had to think where East Texas was.
Yeah, the dividing line is kind of a mystery, isn't it?
It is. Well,
I don't
I'm
know
also
whether
not
there's
from
an
here.
official,
Oh, official
thing or not, but
So it's like Beaumont considered East Texas?
yes.
Okay.
And, yeah, but then that's where I was born, so yeah, I can tell you that for a fact.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything for sure. And I guess if you go by major cities, Houston's kind of in the middle almost, So, but when you gravitate over to Austin and San Antonio, Kerrville, and all that, you get more the West Texas feel. And I think really probably the climate and the environment is what divides it, because when you think of West Texas, you think of more desert and more hills and all that, and East Texas is trees. We're all about those pine trees and all the big thicket and everything that you see more from the south to the north as you drive up along that side of Texas. So if you think about it in a topography kind of picture, that is another factor in it.
And it's all humid.
I don't know. West Texas is very dry.
I feel
it really is.
I've only been to San Antonio twice, but it was still just as hot.
Right. Yeah, you'd have to go further west, like Lubbock, Amarillo, all those parts where you're more northwest to really feel the.
I have been to Amarillo, and it was dry up there.
And even Kerrville. Kerrville's not far from Austin and San Antonio, and it gets dry.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know, because this humidity recently has been not fun.
Traitor.
Traitor again.
He's throwing them down.
He is all morning, by the way.
Trying to give you some shade because it's so hot and humid, right?
Ooh, I like that. I need more shade then at that point. So, what venues do you normally play at? So, like I would love to see you live with a full band. I would assume, or is it just
we're
usually
everything.
you?
We do solo, duo, trio, and full band, so a little bit of everything. And we play all over the Houston area, so north, south, east, west, lots of different places. So I'm not sure what town you're kind of situated in, but
I'm in the southwest.
Southwest, okay. We play at Crust Pizza in League City.
Hey, okay.
That's not too far, and
Yeah.
we're there about every other week down there, and that's a duo show when we do that one.
Oh, awesome.
We also do a duo down in Crystal Beach at Houston.
Ooh, I love that place.
That's a little bit, further out.
That's the one where you get to ride the ferry, right?
You can.
Yeah.
It's actually easier to drive through Winnie, though, near Beaumont, to get down there than it is to take the ferry.
I didn't know you could drive there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the ferry was very cool. That was the first time
there's
I
only
ever...
2 ways to get there, A or B, and if that's your choice.
Oh, I had no idea. Yeah, I went there once, and I was like, am I allowed to drive on this? This is kind of cool. I stayed in the car the whole time, though, because I was
and then we also
scared.
play out west at a restaurant called the Oaks in Katy, which is near the Buc-ee's. So that's not too far away. And that we did full band last month, and it'll be a trio show in August.
How many is in a full band?
4.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So is that 2 guitar, bass, and drummer?
Guitar, bass. My husband's the drummer, and then I play keys and acoustic. So that's our 4. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I
It's
can't
pretty
wait.
exciting.
And yeah,
And we're doing festivals. We do the Blue Bonnet Festival, the Fulshire Scarecrow Festival, and then also the Chapel Hill Scarecrow Festival. So quite a few of those
so you
coming
are
up in the mix.
all
So
over.
we are all over the place, yeah.
Have you ever played at Scotty's Saloon? I think
I've
that's
tried.
Rosenberg.
I've tried to. That's one of the difficult things I think about being a musician is trying to get a hold of the people that book the live acts, and then trying to get a conversation going. And a lot of places you contact, you just kind of get ghosted, and you never know what happened. Did they lose the email? Did they lose the number?
So when you're not playing music, is that like what you're doing? Like going out and just like, okay, this is the booking guy. Let me go and email
cold
him.
calls, yeah, a lot of cold calls, go into places, which helps too, because then you can see the space, and then you know what really is going to fit there the best. Do they really have room for a trio? Do they even have room for a duo, or is this more like a solo show type thing, to put somebody in a corner?
Like this.
That's what I was doing.
That's why you got a solo today.
No, it's totally cool.
Although we could have done a percussion setup and been just fine. It would have
would've
been
been
harder
real
for Bill to
crowded.
get off work, because he still works full time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would have been a little bit harder for him to get off, but that's okay.
Yeah, and early. Right, this is like 9:45
Yeah.
the call time. It's like,
Right.
ooh. That's one thing I didn't really think about when I started doing these. I was like, man, we're gonna be messing with musicians that probably play at night most of the time.
Yeah, we had band practice last night. That's all right. That's all right.
Not
I'm
too
still
late.
warmed up. It's like I never stop singing when I do morning things like this.
Oh, okay, so this isn't out of the norm that you have to be to play something at
Well,
night.
no, because the business side of the music business, a lot of that happens by day. Where you're contacting venues, or you're doing photo shoots, or you're doing interviews like this, or maybe catching up on paperwork or promoting things, posting your social media, all those things that are part of the life of a musician, they have to get done too.
So I'm glad I don't feel too bad then. I was like, 9:45. We're going to make it 8:45 next.
Right. And then there's the music writing too. So when we're not performing, I'm trying to set aside time where I can work on new things that I would like to record. So,
Well,
yeah.
What's the next song? Is it a new one?
It's kind of in the middle. This was one of the first albums that I submitted into the Grammys, called Back to You. And it is a really cool song off this album. This is I Almost Said I Do. And this was originally written about Taylor Swift. And because she would almost say I do, and then, no, that one's gone. Oh, I do. No, I don't. And so
like this one.
that was the initial thing. But then as it kind of transpired, as I wrote it, it was also about making decisions. And when somebody says no to you, it's okay to say yes to walking away if you're not in the right situation. So it kind of morphed into this really cool song. So I hope you like it. This is I Almost Said I Do off the Back to You album. And it's got a great video on the YouTube channel as well for Suzanne's band. It's got a bunch of runaway brides in it and different fun little things. So definitely check that video out for I Almost Said I Do. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of those walks, one of those talks no one wants to have. Could see it in your eyes, feel it in your touch before the words began. Baby, I'm a big girl living in a big world. Yes, I understand. Don't change how it hurts me or make you a better man. I almost said I do, but now I don't. Don't want your sympathy. Don't want you to see what it's done to me. I almost said I will, but now I won't. Won't ever look behind me. Won't ever think of the way you set me free. One of those days, one of those ways no one can explain. When stars come crashing down, joy turns into pain. Yes, I'm a big girl living in a big world. Sometimes I can't understand, but don't change how it moves me in the wheel of the bigger plan. I almost said I do, but now I don't. Don't want your sympathy. Don't want you to see what it's done to me. I almost said I will, but now I won't. Won't ever look behind me, and won't ever think of the way you set me free. Thought nobody could love me like you. Didn't know what I was missing, it's true. Standing on my own now, feeling 10 feet tall. Made it to the other side, and if I recall, I almost said I do, but now I don't. I don't want your sympathy. I don't want you to see what it's done to me. I almost said I will, but now I won't. Won't ever look behind me. Won't ever think of the way you set me free. I almost said I do. Do, 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 oh yeah. Almost said it, almost did it. Oh, I almost said I will,
Woohoo!
Almost said it.
But you ended up saying you do because you have a husband.
Yeah, 24 years. 24 years, yeah.
So when you do songwriting, is it just stories that you have in your head, or is it based on real life experiences?
Both. And sometimes I start with just a melody and end up putting words to it. Sometimes I'll just hear a beat and decide, that'd be a really good song for this kind of feel, and then come up with words. Sometimes the idea for the song comes first, and then I've got to come up with a melody to go with it, which I think is a little harder. I think I'd almost rather hear the song in my head and then put the words to it in some ways.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm more writer than composer, so that it's harder for me, because music theory just isn't my thing. So,
Can you explain the difference? I'm not a music guy. I'm just a really good listener. So it's like composer and writer.
The theory is putting the chords together and the difficulty and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, and then songwriting is exactly
Right,
what
songwriting is exactly what it is. Just writing the lyrics and putting it together in itself.
Okay.
Making up choruses and verses and bridges and
Awesome. Well,
all that jazz.
yeah, that is not anything. I'm just like, oh, okay, that was cool. I don't know how you put that together, but I definitely enjoyed it. But before we go, do you have any final words for the audience, the viewers, listeners, and us?
Well, I would say we also do Christmas music. We have a couple of Christmas songs, and I brought one today. If we have time to play it, and that's fine too. So we've got a couple of those. I hope to record more of those next. That'll be the first thing I go back in and hit is another Christmas song in the recording studio, and then another couple of albums down the road here. And then our most recent companion single that we just released and submitted for its Grammy is based on the Ice and Fire album, one of the songs off of that. I took it and turned it from a bossa nova blues into a Latin pop song. Kind of a J-Lo Pitbull vibe. And it's a really cool story behind the guy that I found for my Pitbull. Yes,
Okay.
It is a cool, because the studio initially found me one person, and then that person couldn't do it because of family commitments. And then another studio I'd gone to record the vocals found me somebody, and then they canceled the last minute at the exact time we were supposed to be there to record. Finally they said, we'll find somebody, don't worry. So they call this guy in. Turns out he's from Colombia, so I had a real accent, which helps. When you're recording something in Spanish, it helps to have somebody that already speaks it. And that was a huge plus. But his initials were CA, and I said, does that cover my ass? You literally just did that. The third time's the charm, and you're it. And he was it. He was wonderful. It was nice. And his name was Chris Andrade, and he's the one that was my pit bull. So it was really cool. It was fun to do. I've never done anything that fast or that upbeat before. Most of my songs are a little bit more on the mellow side. So I think I like the direction that that's going, and I'm going to try and, pick up the pace a little bit with some of my new projects, and hope to be able to come back and share some of those when they come out too.
Oh, we're going to have to get the full band at the other studio sooner or later. I would love to see that. Yeah, that's what
that would be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, we have a lot more space at the other place. Yeah.
Rude. Traitor.
He says this. He's there on Sundays, all right?
Oh,
yeah, they run audio for me there too, so ha. Well, thank you, Mia, for coming in, sharing your stories, and giving us a little background and playing your music for us.
Yeah, and if anybody wants any more information, they can go to Suzanne'sBand.com, and we're on all the social media, everywhere. You can find our music everywhere. So hopefully we can get some more likes and follows and new fans and new listeners, and we appreciate that. And for everybody tuning in to KPFT as well, and thank you guys for having me out today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, not a worry. But well, thank you everybody else here. Basil, Blue, Rico,
Hey, that's me.
for helping us out. Check out Suzanne's band online, and if you enjoy this performance and the other performance that we will be having, go to kpft.org or look up KPFT Sessions on YouTube or the Houston Collective and check us out. And thank you for listening, and goodbye. Oh, what a tease. You're gonna just have to go to YouTube to see that exclusive. But it is Fun Drive. So, let's get on those phones, and Rico will probably answer the phone. So, when he answers, say, "How do I get a brick right next to the Houston Collective?" Which is what you're listening to right now. This is the place where we feature all local musicians playing in and around the city. And not only that, we also feature non-musical artists, which you've heard a couple weeks ago and today. But yeah, give us a call. kpft.org. That's not the phone number, but that is the website. I don't currently know the phone number, but we'll change that. All I do know is kpft.org. Go and donate and enjoy listening to local music here on the Houston Collective. And we'll be getting into the next segment. This is Messiah. This is the Houston Collective on KPFT 90.1. This is the second segment of the show. And we, just want to let everyone know that I don't only feature musical talents and artists as guests, but I'm also here to support the art scene. But before we continue and introduce our guests, I just want to say thank you to all the listeners and viewers here at KPFT. And if you want to say hi, go to kpft.org. 4504 Caroline Street. That's not where we're at. We're at 5510 Lawndale Community Cultivation Network, which is part of our sponsor here today. But let's get into it. So today we have our guest,
Dylan's Workshop.
Oh, Dylan's Workshop. Let us know. No, I'm just kidding. Dylan.
Yeah,
of
Dylan.
Dylan's Workshop.
Correct, yes. I am Dylan, and I am Dylan's Workshop, the artist, model, and event coordinator.
Oh, hey. That's new news. I didn't know you modeled. Oh, you're just a plethora of artsy stuff.
Yeah, like I said, through the years of getting to know so many different types of artists, and I just enjoy collaborating. And so photographers would be like, have you ever thought about modeling? And I said, sure, let's do something. And then it rolled into that.
Awesome. Yeah, see, as a photographer, I'm not a photographer. Let me just be clear. I can't go up to be like, hey, you want to get videoed? What's your idea? I'll just video you. I'm like, it's a little weird. But so, Dylan, let us know your origin story. I'm not going to mention that we already talked about this before the camera started rolling. So, what's your origin story?
That was the warm-up, yeah.
That was the warm-up.
Okay. So I come from Georgia. I moved here in about 2017. I got involved in the art scene 2018. And I've been attending pop-up art markets and art shows as Dylan's Workshop throughout those years. Recently, I began to attend more local music scene things, made more friends with bands and musicians and, sound techs and things of that nature. And it rolled into merging those two worlds.
Yo, it's an awesome world to do, because I feel like music and art go hand in hand, and they should always be together at shows.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, every band that has a sticker, a poster, an artist had a hand in that. So I feel that it makes sense to have artwork at a music show and vice versa.
Yeah. So have you started doing album covers yet?
Yes, actually.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's so amazing. Like just a year ago, I was barely tiptoeing into the scene, and people have really taken to collaborating with me, which I'm super happy about. Actually, here I have the backside cover of a local punk band, Toxic Origins record. This was taken out back of Ram Jam Punk Night. They were standing around sipping beers, and they were like, "Gosh, we don't have anybody to take our picture." And I was like, just get up here and take a picture. And I just made them stand up there and snap the iPhone photography. And they were like, it's perfect.
Oh, yeah. No, that's awesome that it's being used, too. And, like, coming from, using videos and stuff like that, it took me so long to get into, like, iPhone photography. I mean, I'm an Android guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's clear. Yeah, everyone hates on that here, but it's okay. But I do have an iPhone, and I do take pictures with it. But man, it's definitely a whole different skill coming from like DSLRs and stuff like that. So, what was your first show here when you got here?
Like the very first show that I attended as an artist here?
No, just like your introduction to the Houston music scene.
Oh, okay. So a friend of mine, Angel, she's another artist. She organized some events, maybe 2019, and those were Dia de los Muertos at the White Swan. And at the White, and I was painting skulls on everybody, and we had bands playing that night. And that was kind of an early introduction into kind of the hybrid music art show. And I just kind of started getting hooked on that, wanted more and more, and I started going to the end regularly. And I met Jessica, and I just kept having so much fun, and, started going to all these Black Magic, Trip 6, and just ended up getting hooked.
Yeah, man, you go to all the hardcore areas. I mean, like, no hate to that, but I just know White Swan. I went there once, and I was like, "Whoa, this is an interesting place." And there's like people on the patio.
Absolutely,
that live there.
Yeah, that one's a little bit of a Wild West. Anything goes. Like,
all right, so White Swan or Trip 6? Which Trip 6? Which one's wilder? I think Trip 6.
Okay, that's a good question. Okay. I say White Swan gets a little rowdier, and I would say Trip 6, anything can happen. I always joke that anything can happen. You might see some boobies. You may see some, you do not know. It's always a good time.
Yeah, the first time I went there, I don't know what was going on, but it was, Ganesha was playing. But we were waiting outside for Ganesha to start, and it looked like some of these kids are out there were doing some, I don't know if I'm just going to say it, like some jackass stunts.
Uh-huh.
And they're like jumping off of ladders and elbowing people. And
jumping off pool tables, that kind of
Okay,
happens.
that's a normal thing over there?
Pushing each other in carts up skateboard ramps.
Yes.
Setting symbols on fire may happen.
Speaking of setting symbols on fire, have you ever watched Daikaiju recently?
That's who I'm referring to.
Yeah.
That's who I'm referring.
Dude, they're awesome. I've seen them for the first time in Austin this year, and I didn't expect anything of that nature.
Every time they come to Houston, I go. It's an experience.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I heard that they did not set anything on fire at Black Magic.
That is unfortunate. There was a back parking lot that they could have used, but it's kind of all torn up at the moment. So they didn't want to burn down the building, so they tried to keep it safe.
Yeah, that's good.
Unfortunately.
I've heard that they've burned down places before.
They have
or not
set
burned down.
Vans on fire, and
really?
people were concerned.
And like, how are they supposed to like tell people because they don't talk?
Yeah, they just run away.
They disappear.
Really? They just disappear.
Oh man! And like, how often have you seen them?
I think about 2, maybe 3 times. I've seen them a couple at Trip 6, and they always burn stuff there.
Oh yeah,
always burn stuff.
I mean, whether or not Daikaiju's there, there's always something on fire there.
Actually, that's true. There's a burn barrel. Yeah. I think at least 2 or 3 times.
Awesome. So, was Dylan's workshop made here, or was it brought over from Georgia?
Yeah. So I was in art college over in Georgia, attended for a couple of years, and just moved out here for work and decided that I was going to take my painting seriously. So Dylan's workshop kind of evolved into that here at Houston.
Oh, awesome. And was this let's talk about this, because this is I keep wanting to look back, but I feel like that's bad on camera for me at least.
And the mic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and
You're
the
like,
mic. So like this.
Have a little look.
Look how we're both like
Yoga.
breaking our necks here. So when was this painted?
Yeah. So this here is called Starla. From Napoleon Dynamite, he says, "You don't want to think I'm a failure because I go home to Starla at night." So that was just a goofy name that I come up with, but in my mind, I just wanted to portray as many different stars as I could think up. So I just tried to rack my brain for as many different styles of stars that I could. Not too much symbolism there, aside from just wanting to have everything unique. Jessica was so cool. She was one of the girls that just really put a lot of faith in me. She was like, "Why don't you start putting on shows? We'll do an art show here at the end." And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, yeah, why not? Just kind of had full faith in me. And I just wanted to roll with it and put something together. And just seeing it all come to life and everybody have so much fun was very gratifying.
Awesome. So it's called Dylan's Workshop. Are you painting on the scene, while these things are happening, or do you put on workshops, or is it a shop where you work at?
Yes. Okay. So mostly the latter.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, actually, that we come up with the name. My sister and I were singing into a box fan, making these robot voices,
Yes.
And it was like a boring summer or something, and we made up a little song, and it was like, "Come to Zoe's workshop and to Dylan's workshop. If you do not like it, you will get a free ice cream cone." We had a little jingle.
Do you still offer free ice cream cones?
That was our satisfaction guarantee. If you were not happy with whatever it was, you would get free ice cream.
Well, I want free ice cream, but I'm pretty sure I would enjoy your workshops.
Yeah. So that was something that stuck with me, and I got serious about painting, and I was like, what am I going to call this? Dylan's Workshop. And it just naturally, it was from when I was a child. And we just went with that. I call it workshop because at some point I would like to have, a bigger scale shop so that I can make my own frames, stretch my own canvases, build maybe tables. I'm interested in doing that stuff eventually. I'm in a studio apartment now, so it's not technically a workshop, but that's where I work.
Okay, so how do we start collaborating? Do you do interactive stuff, or do you set up a table and be like, check out my painting?
So to answer your first question about collaborating, for a festival, I'd be open to helping you organize the vendors, or if say you're I don't know, a good punk band, I can help you if you're needing a certain thing, just ask about my hardcore band or whatever. I can try to help you plug that in.
Well, no, but as far as you and your paintings and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I'm open to doing a live painting on stage if you'd be interested in something like that.
Dude. No, I'm interested in everything. I just don't know what's out there and what's different that people do. You know what I mean? I just know.
I've done some live paintings in the past where I'm just kind of doing my thing with a spray paint or something to the side, and people can come by and watch.
Is that kind of what happens at Bad Astronaut? Have you been there?
Mm-hmm.
Where they do
the spray paint battles?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, something similar to that. I could do at a lot of my art shows. I don't really live paint because in my mind, I feel like my back to the audience is a little bit impersonal. So I've actually come up with something that I haven't quite revealed yet.
Oh, well, we don't have to reveal it.
But
now.
I do have something interactive planned.
Dope. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, because I've been doing video for a little over a decade now, and I'm always trying to figure out ways to make it more interactive. I mean, I know it's just like set up cameras, record it, and it goes on YouTube or whatever. But it's like, how do I make things more interactive? How do I make uh, audience and people, come and hang out and be close to the artist, something like that? So, okay, let's try to figure out who I could bring in to make it more interactive, or if that's
Cool.
even a thing. But I do agree with you on that. Like if you're doing some live painting and you having your back to the audience.
Yeah, I would say, especially if you're trying to exhibit your artwork and talk about it,
Mhm.
you kind of need to be more face to face with them if you're going to show them your stickers and your paintings. That way you can speak about your work a little more easy. But if, say, I'm just there to do a performance, I would go on stage and not speak and just live paint. That would be kind of different.
Well, I mean, yeah, the whole having your back towards the audience. I'm like, maybe we can put a camera in front of you and have that live streaming. Or, you know what I mean? Just so
Thinking outside the box
you can
there.
still have your back to the audience, but they could watch.
I need like a mirror so that I can like check my rear.
Yeah. Something like that, because it's like, oh man, like because
If we could make eye contact through the mirror while I'm painting, that would be cool.
that would. Hey, quiet back there. No, I'm just kidding.
He's
Jayla.
like, that's bizarre. That's bizarre.
But that's. I think that's what we need to do. So, what's the scene like out in Georgia compared to here in Houston? Because I'm from California and I can definitely see differences, and I think, but it's also just a huge place, also. But
Yeah,
is
it's
it
a
similar?
total melting pot here. I like that, and I can't say I've spent too much heavy time in like the music scene over in Atlanta to really speak on that. I went to a small club in Atlanta the last time I went home to visit, and I saw a guy getting a little too rowdy, and they were quick to get him out. But Houston, things get a little rowdy, and it's kind of like, watch out for big man, So in Atlanta, they were like more quick to get the violence out. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I've seen that. It's just like, oh man, that guy's getting low. Let's just go over here to the other side of the
Yeah,
bar.
but this one was like, no, he's done.
Oh really?
They drug him out, kicked him out. But when I was in Atlanta, I spent more time in like the clubs, like that kind. So a little different, yeah.
No, that's awesome that you landed, because I feel like here in Houston, it's hard to find, I guess your niche, not niche, but where you can fit in, because everything's so spread out. But
It's a big city, but it's a small scene. Once you get into it, the music scene, you'll go to these clubs, and it's like, I thought you were just at Trip 6 last night. So
Yeah.
it's cool. You see the same faces and stuff.
Yeah, no, I definitely love that too, because it's at this point, like shooting so many musicians and bands here. I'm starting to see like, oh, you were the drummer for this
Overlapping
band. Yeah.
members. Yes, definitely. I'll accidentally catch sets from other musicians. I'm like, wait, you're that guy from Toxic. What are you doing in the Cops? Like,
Yeah. Oh, they play. Does he really play with the Cops?
yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
No, well,
I don't-
briefly, we talked about this photo being shot at Ram Jam.
But that's your thing that you throw on how often?
Yeah, so that developed from a friend of mine, Ram Perez. He owns Rampage Tattoo, and he's had several locations throughout the years, and my understanding was that he's been throwing these shows at his tattoo shop in the Heights and various locations for like 20 years.
Oh wow.
10, 20 years at least. And Jessica has been involved in videography and sound for him with that project since then, at least 10 years. And so they were kind of teammates a little in the past. And given that COVID happened, it kind of shut down his the flow on that show thing. So his new location, it's on Westheimer, is that, I believe?
Yeah, the recent one with Birdman,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. So his newest location, he hadn't done any shows there, and when I went to get tattooed my ice cream cone, I was like, this place is amazing. We should do something. And he was like, I used to throw shows, so I kind of was like, let's revive it. And so that's how I got involved. I'm kind of just the cheerleader and a rallier. I rally up the people, and I put the flyers together, and I advertise and that stuff like that. So it's been really cool. I'm kind of the new greenhorn on the team, but they know the drill, and so it's fun to learn from them.
Oh, sweet. So you made all those flyers and all that, like Photoshop or Canva? Or...
Yeah, so I do. It's funny, like being an independent artist, you have to market your own things. So you kind of become a graphic designer, and so just making these flyers out of necessity. I use Adobe Spark usually.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty convenient for me. It works great.
So how was that transition from going, I call this traditional painting versus like digital stuff?
Well, so what's cool is like I try to incorporate a little bit of hand drawing in like my flyers, because I know that's kind of an old school feel. And
yes.
like, for example, this design here was hand drawn, but this here was graphic design. So I'm kind of trying to mix media with that. Let me give you another example here. This was a hand drawn design for a band called Devoured Trachea. They were so young when I booked them, they didn't even have a logo, and they were like, "Well, we don't even have one." So I just sketched up a trachea and put it in as a graphic, and they rolled with it. So that's a hand-drawn design there. And then also from a painting. So this was painted and then photographed and turned into like a sticker.
Awesome. No, I love the mixed media stuff, because it definitely brings everything together and
like human quality too.
Yes.
Not just so robotic.
Mm-hmm. No, I 100% agree with that. Although, the robotic stuff, it does have its place, depending on if I'm trying to...
Crispy, clean look.
Yeah. Yeah, for corporate America. But no, it's
I do like a mix. I do like a mix of graphic, clean look, and then a little bit of messy hand style. So here, for example, this flyer, all of this was hand-drawn.
Is that what you did?
Hand-drawn. That's correct. And then the rest was graphic design. So I try to do a little hybrid.
Whoa,
this was
that
painted.
Knuckles?
It is, yeah. Yeah, and then I put his little spikes on.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. That's
yeah.
So cool. So how long does it take you to do stuff like that? Like to hand draw? I mean, if I remember correctly, you did say you went to school for it?
Yeah, so I did. I've always been creative as a kid. My parents really cultivated that, so I was always drawing and things. But I would say definitely, like, I'll go back in on a graphic design and rework it. I'll say, like, I can tell this is jumbly. I need to reorganize it, and sometimes I'll come back to it with a fresh eye, and that helps.
How long do you let your stuff sit before you get back to it?
That's a good question. Sometimes things do get like abandoned that were meant to be come back to, and then you just never do. But yeah, I try to juggle maybe one or two projects so that if I'm feeling stuck on certain thing, I can bounce to my other thing. I try not to let them sit too long.
Okay. No, I mean, I love hearing other people's creative process, because I do the same thing. Like I'll do, when I do edit a music video or anything, I'll do a rough cut, get it to what I believe is 80%, let it sit for like 3-4 days, and then come back to it.
You'll have the final clarity on what you needed.
Yeah, a break is always needed, at least for me. And
because when you're staring at a painting, you're doing the details, and you got to remember to step back.
Yeah, no, stepping back is definitely important, which is something I've been continuously learning. Just because it's like, oh man, what am I doing here? And I love overindulging. So if I'm gonna edit something, I'm gonna be in front of it 12 hours.
Caught in the weeds on every little detail.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, I'm like, dude, I've been staring at this 2-second
eyeballs
clip.
are fried.
Yeah, falling asleep. I definitely wake up at my desk all the time.
Hunched over.
Yeah, hunched over. I'm like, oh, I feel all the bones in my body.
For real.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad it's not just me being obsessive. Everybody else is obsessive about their art.
That's good. That means we have passion. I think that's a good thing.
No, and I think we definitely need to have more of these kind of conversations with more artists and bring us all together, because it's such a big city out here in Houston that if you're in a certain group, I feel like we tend to stay in that group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I'm trying to always I'm trying to get into other genres and more different styles of groups and stuff like that. And it's hard to get in there when you don't know anybody also. So yours is like what, punk rock and hardcore people mainly?
Yeah, but then earlier we talked about Hex Partner, and she's
Yeah,
total
she is
opposite.
totally opposite. Yes, you're very
Traditional classical musician, so I
Dungeon synth.
Dungeon.
Is that new? I feel like I've never heard that until I saw her.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either. She was an experience.
Oh,
But
so you got to see her live?
I did, yeah. We met and we talked, and she's very nice. So I enjoy all these different people. I love talking to metalheads and then talking to the youngsters in hardcore, and it's fun.
Well, what's funny about metalheads is when
Mhm.
you see them on stage and you're like, I'm scared. And then you talk to them, you're like, dude, I will hug all you guys.
You find them out back carving a pumpkin.
Yeah, and like, hey, what's up, dude? Hey, and I'm like, well,
Nicest guy
what?
with crazy hair.
Yeah, so have you ever hung out with the Virulent guys?
Virulent, yeah. They actually invited me to do their show at Trip Six one time, and that was like very popular. That was a good one.
Yeah, they're also the nicest guys. But
They're
see them on
hilarious. Their
stage,
videos they make. Oh my gosh, I love those guys.
Yeah, that's shout out to Roger. Roger
funny.
is the one that does all that. I hope this was fun.
Oh yeah, I had a great time. Thank
Okay,
you.
Good. Yeah, it's not very traditional, and neither am I. But yeah, so thank you, listeners and viewers. Oh, sorry, Jaylon distracted me. I saw his phone up. It's okay. Let me just mess up my outro like that. No, I'm just kidding. But this has been the Houston Collective on KPFT 90.1 FM Houston. And we are here with Dylan from Dylan's Workshop. And yeah, thank you for joining us, and keep art alive, Houston. Check us out.